A sometimes useful concept inside of PHP is that of variable functions. This is a way for you to use a variable's value to call a function of the same name. This way, if a variable name has parentheses appended to it, PHP will look for a function with the same name as whatever the variable evaluates to, and then will attempt to execute it. We will use this mostly as a callback in our code, allowing us to call different functions from another function or from an action based off of the result of the main function. Let's go to Workspaces and look at this a bit closer. Okay, so let's open up some PHP tags here, and we have existing functions already for hello and greet. Well, now let's say function is equal to hello. So this is just simple variable named func, F-U-N-C, or function. Then we set it equal to hello. Now this variable can be named anything, just like a normal string variable. You could name it, Bob, Chris, Tom, but it makes sense that we're going to use a function name, so we'll just say func equals hello. Now, in order to call it, we simply use $func, but then open and close parentheses and put a semicolon after it. This is the exact same as if we called hello with open and close parentheses, because in variable functions inside of PHP, whatever the value of the variable name is, which the value is hello of func, it will call that function or look for a function with that same name. So let's say we changed func to greet and then called func or func with the open and close parentheses. It would be the same as if we had called greet. We can also pass through arguments such as $func and then Mike and then evening. This would be the exact same as if we called greet, then Mike, then comma, then evening. Okay, so where we left off, we actually have a function here called addup. Let's say we'll call it addup, and then we'll have another one and we'll call it subtract. So first thing we're going to do is just simplify these just to make them nice and clean for now. We'll actually return just a plus b. Okay, save that. And then we want to add up those two values, which is totally fine. And then we'll add another function in here, and we'll call it answer. Okay, and then that answer won't have any arguments, but we will create it nonetheless. And we'll say return, and then we'll return the integer 42. Okay. So now we have our return value of 42 from the answer function, and then we add up two values. And then here we have us calling addup. We're actually going to remove this for right now. Okay, so to talk about variable functions, we have two functions here. The idea behind a variable function is that we're actually able to call a function by using a string variable. So let's try this by creating a new variable, a string variable, and we'll call it func, F-U-N-C. We'll set that equal to a string called answer. All right, so nothing more than just a string variable. But in PHP, if we want to call maybe a function called answer, we can do that by simply saying func, which is our variable, and then adding a open and close parentheses around it, and then doing a semicolon. So I'm going to save this, and then go over to our preview, and then see what we get. Okay, we got nothing back. The reason why is we didn't actually echo anything. So let's actually do echo of func. Head back over after saving it and refresh. Perfect, 42. We can also store this to another variable if we want. So we'll just call it num is equal to func and then say echo num. Save it, go back over and refresh, and we get the same thing, 42. We just went about it a different way. All right, so that's a base of any kind of variable function. But let's say we want to change this easily without modifying it at all. We'll just say change our string variable value to addup. Now, this into itself won't do us much good. We refresh it and we get 0. Well, that's because adding 0 and 0, we get 0. So we can actually pass through arguments right here on line 13. So we can say 5 and then 10. Save that, head back over and refresh, and we'll get 15. So what you can see here with variable functions is that it allows us to take input from somewhere and call any kind of function that pre-exists based off of a string variable value. This could be very helpful for callbacks, which we'll get into in later lessons. But for now, you can see that just simply taking a variable value such as addup or answer and putting parens behind that function or behind that variable definition, you can actually call a variable function.